Hi guys. So we're gonna do a kind of like a catch up, sit and chat type thing. Yeah. So basically I wanna start off, I haven't really done one of these in a while, and I've had a lot of questions on, what's been going on in my life, and why we moved back so fast, and just everything. So I figured instead of individually answering everybody's questions one by one, person by person, I just make a video and address everything as much as I can in full. So as of last year, September, we had gone to Las Vegas with my mom, and I went to go visit my dad. Well, right before we had gone, I had found, like literally the night before, I had found out I was pregnant. And I was ecstatic. My husband, I called him when he was working. He's screaming through the prison, "My wife's pregnant." We were so happy. Well, we went to Las Vegas. I think we were there for like a week, maybe 2 weeks. I'm not entirely positive how that worked out. But so we went and enjoyed, some family time with my mom and my dad. And when I got home, I started having some complications, and we had gone to the doctor. And the doctor had said basically my placenta was tearing away from the uterine wall or something along the lines of that. I don't know. So they said either I could lose the baby or I could have a full-heartedly, healthy pregnancy. Well, it didn't end that way. We ended up losing the baby on October 19th of last year. And I'm not even gonna lie, it was pretty traumatic. The way everything happened, it was really hard. So before I start crying, we'll just, keep going. But we had, obviously worked through that. We had some issues in between here and there with our marriage, that kind of thing. It takes a toll on you, plain and simple. You can't work through that. Well, you can, but it's really hard, and some people just can't get through it. So fast forward to May of this year, my husband had spent 5 years, basically since we got to New Mexico when we first moved there. He had applied at a prison, spent 5 years at this prison, dedicated his life. I mean, he was working 60, 70 hours, not a week, every 2 weeks or something like that, over there. And he loved it. He loved his job. He loved what he did. Never an issue, nothing. Well, the prison ended up getting little kids. It was one of those facilities that would just literally hire anybody out of high school. No training, no education, no anything. And that's fine and dandy, but you need to teach the children, to leave high school in high school. And basically my husband, after 5 years, was fired for hearsay. We won't get into full details, but basically some little kids did not like that my husband did his job very well, that he was good at his job, and just a whole bunch of crap happened, and he ended up losing his job. So obviously that, put a tear in everything again. So he ended up being on unemployment for about 3 months. And in that 3 months, it was kind of nice, not even gonna lie. We had it was rough. We almost lost everything, but it was nice being able to finally see my husband after 5 years of him working nonstop. So, there's some good in the bad. But basically, after the unemployment ended, he ended up getting a job where my dad used to work. My dad helped him get this job. It was in the oil fields, and he didn't love it. I mean, it's the oil field, but it was a job. It was really good pay. So after he got that job, I'm not sure when he got it. It was sometime in the summer, I think July. So in September, I had decided to take a trip back home to Wisconsin to visit with my best friend who was going through some really difficult shit at the time. I can't really go into details about that, but, she needed me here and I wanted to be here for her. So I came and spent some time with her. I left my husband and my kids in New Mexico. My kids were with, family and friends, and they were, taking care of them and helping me. I had never left my kids like that before, and my husband was working, so he just started the job, so he could not afford to take off or anything like that, and I had to be home, to be here for her. So it was like the first time that I had really been away from him for a long period of time and my kids. So I ended up getting homesick here and there, but, I enjoyed my time up here. It was kind of nice to have a break, and it also opened my eyes and made me realize that New Mexico wasn't home anymore. It was not where we were meant to be. It was kind of just a temporary spot, basically, for us. And I decided I wanted to move back to Wisconsin. So we ended up deciding to move back to Wisconsin in June of next year, 2018. Well, when I got home from Wisconsin visiting, it was the end of September, and a couple weeks later, I had found out I was pregnant. Literally got pregnant like the day I got home. Nice going, honey. But immediately I decided, okay, we cannot stay in New Mexico anymore. We have to go home to Wisconsin. Because with my previous miscarriage, I did not want to take any risks. I wanted to make sure that I had the right, medical care. I can't even think. I wanted to make sure that I had the right medical care. I had the right doctors and everything to help with anything. I've always been a really high risk pregnancy. I almost lost my daughter. My son had some complications when I was pregnant with him as well. So that was, I told my husband, Michael, that we needed to go home right away. We needed to figure out a way to do it. It ended up working. We ended up figuring out a way to do it like we always do. And we came home. Well, we didn't come home yet. In the process of planning to move to Wisconsin, we lost the baby. And once again, obviously. So once again, it was really difficult to go through. Nobody here knows that. Well, I mean, some people do, a handful of people, but not everybody. Everybody was asking why we were moving home so fast. It was originally June, and then it was originally this or that or whatever. Well, now you know why. So it came unexpectedly. I tried doing everything that I could. I was trying to stay as healthy as I could. I dropped 60 pounds in between the time that I lost the first baby to this one, just trying to do everything in my power to make sure that I could be as healthy as possible to carry another child. And it just wasn't in the cards for us. So, sorry. We obviously moved home because we had everything already in plan. So we had moved home and we had came home. Anyways, November 1st, we moved. My amazing friend Ryan from New Mexico joined us and took the long-ass drive all the way here. Horrible. I don't even want to go into that. But, it's my best friend here in Wisconsin had opened up her house to us and is letting us stay here until we're back on our feet. Mike has a job right now. Obviously, it's nothing amazing. It's nothing, what he originally wanted. He's still working towards what he wants. I'm still working towards what I want. But at least now we are in the place that we need to be. We're where we need to be with the people that we need to be with. And it just, everything has been horrible, the last year or so. And if you know me, I'm a pretty optimistic person. I can work through just about anything. But, I'm not even going to lie. There's a lot. So much has happened. Well, in the month that we've been home, it's December 7th today. We moved November 1st. And in that month that we've been home, all hell has broken loose. We had, one second. We had, one funeral already. It was the best man from our wedding. His mother, unfortunately, had passed away, and of course, we had to be there for him, and his mother was an amazing woman. But then on this is where it's going to get hard, so please bear with me. November 18th, one of my best friends had gone missing. His name was Ryan, and he was going through some really rough times. And I'm so sorry. He was going through some really rough shit. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. He was hurting. He had gone and asked for help. And unfortunately, miscommunications, something happened. He was let go from the hospital, or the way this all worked. It's a whole mess. But basically, he ended up getting into his car and drove off. And nobody had heard from him. Nobody had seen him. I was putting up posters. His family was doing everything in their power that they could to try to bring Ryan home. And this was a Saturday that he had gone missing. I had heard about it. And, I was doing all that I could here from Kenosha. And he was up in Waupun, which is about a 2-hour drive. So that Monday night, I had decided to go to Waupun to go visit his family and see how they were doing, see if there was anything at all whatsoever that I could do myself to help. I know that, they had covered most of the bases, but something had told me to go up there. And so I went up there, and I went to Oshkosh originally first to go visit his daughter. And from there, I had gone back to Waupun, and I was at, his mom's house for about 20 minutes. And that's when the detective showed up at his house. And we had gotten the news that Ryan ended up committing suicide. He tried getting the help that he needed, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to get that help in time. I wish he could have reached out to some family, to friends, anybody, anything, but when you're hurting that bad, I guess it just makes it really difficult. I know he was going through a lot. And I wish somebody could have helped him. Because if you knew Ryan was not the kind of person to do something like this. He was so happy. And just a joy to be around. He always tried to keep me optimistic. I got some of that from him. So it sucks. It's still fresh. It's still new. He left his daughter behind. If you are really truly facing anything, mentally, physically, anything that you just hurt inside and you need help, look for that help. Don't hesitate. Don't ask somebody, do anything that you physically can to make sure that you're getting the help that you need. And don't ever come to this conclusion, because once it's done, it's done. You can't come back. You can't take it away. Nothing. So all you can do is hold on. But one way or another, something needs to change. A voice needs to be heard to when somebody reaches out saying that they need help, something needs to be done. And there's so many words, but there's so little words to say at the same time to talk about this. It's really hard. It's really difficult. I just wish he was home. I wish I could pick up the phone and hear him once again. When I was home in September, we had played CB tag together, and that was our thing. We had been friends for 9+ years. We had dated previously. That's how he met everybody here in Kenosha, was through that. But we had ended up staying friends, and really good friends at that. But it sucks, because there's a little girl out there without a daddy, and it could have been prevented, because he did reach out. He did try to get help. He did the right thing, and I don't care what anybody says. Anybody can talk all the crap that they want and say he took the coward way out, or he did this, or he did that. But you know what? If you knew Ryan, something was going on in his brain, in his mind, that he just couldn't handle. And he clearly went and did the right thing, and the system failed him. And that sucks. It does. Because if they wouldn't have failed him, Ryan would still be here. So, like I said, even though, Ryan's story didn't work out, doesn't mean yours doesn't have to either. Go and get help. Ask a friend. Ask anybody. Talk to somebody, counselors, whatever it is, whatever you need, just talk about it. Ask for the help. You're not weak. You're not stupid. You're not a waste of space. You're not a waste of time. Nobody will ever think that of you. I want it to stop. Because this is now the second friend that I've lost this way. And it does not get easier. This one hit pretty hard. And it hit really close to me. And my heart breaks for his family. And for his daughter, most of all. For all of his friends. We all have lost an amazing person. Plain and simple. So, stand up, let your voice be heard. But that's basically what I've been going through for the last year or so. Everything that I've said, this with Ryan has been pretty recent, so it's still pretty new, and it's still pretty hard and really heavy. But that's life, and we have to move on. We have to pick up somehow, some way, as hard as it seems. I know Ryan would be yelling at me for even crying right now. I still find myself crying here and there. It sucks. It's hard to get through, and I guarantee 5 years down the road I'll probably still be crying. But, I have to move on. Not move on. I'll never be able to move on from it. But I have to keep going for him, and I have to, try to do my best to be as a good of a friend and everything for his family and be there for them, and especially his daughter. So I think that's going to be it before I keep rambling and whatnot. So I hope you guys have a good night, a good week, month, whatever. My dogs are coming in my room and creeping me out. So, God bless. I love you all.